offered through resources that are offered through the ODHH, such as helping us learn to look for jobs and other opportunities. And so those are things that we struggle with, and it's good to be able to have this opportunity to look for these different resources. Since ASL is our first language source, it's important to be able to have access to that, and that gives us our identity. So how can interpreters help Wisconsin Association of the Deaf accomplish their goals? Out into the real world, how can you share that with the people that are So understand that students and people in the real world really need to be informed of what goes on with interpreters and the deaf, and so you as students learning the language, it's important for you to share that with the community. So long ago, Wisconsin Association of the Deaf was established in 1876. So many of you have finished deaf history, and you'll continue to plan on learning about the different issues within the deaf community, oralism versus manualism, that through industrial work, often the deaf individuals were taught different ways to be able to support themselves. So now the discrimination is, so they don't have to have the discrimination, and they can be learned to be able to self-support themselves. So also through Wisconsin Association of the Deaf, we help the public to understand how the deaf function in this world, whether they have different circumstances that show up in their lives, being pulled over by the police, or just different circumstances that may occur. Many of you may think that the National Association of the Deaf was first established, but actually Wisconsin Association of the Deaf was first established prior to National Association of the Deaf. So we still have an affiliation with NAD, still going on pursuing today. We are a partnership. So our goals for Wisconsin Association of the Deaf match and align with National Association of the Deaf. Some of their goals may be to further legislation more than ours. We may not always align.
If you don't understand, ask her for clarification.
So NAD's goals maybe have a different far-reaching effect. So one of the examples that National Association of the Deaf has is providing closed captioning for the National Association of the Deaf has the ability to provide closed captioning for different circumstances, but the Wisconsin Association of the Deaf doesn't have that quite yet, but we are trying to catch up to be at the same level as the National Association. So, NED will often share with us and with the different legislation and advocacy work that is showing up out in the out in Washington, where it's located, and that the different serious legislation that's happening, they will bring it here for us, and we'll bring it in before Madison, and we'll have discussions and different policies and legislation. So we will have discussions about legislation that's happening on the national level compared to the state level, and then we'll have conferences to be able to discuss those legislation. So Wisconsin, the history, we had an activist, Lars Larson, who collaborated with WSD to encourage the preservation of our sign language. So the goal of his preservation was to be able to save our sign language through different forms of media.
Okay, switch.